Hello.
Good morning.
Ah,
Good day, good evening.
good life.
Yes, it's our Friday frequency.
Good life.
Frequency Friday.
Fridays. All right.
All right.
Love it. All right.
Rose is here to bless us as well.
So beautiful. This rose is
So buttery.
oh, buttery, yes, and like just frilly and elegant. It's like a prom dress.
Oh, I love it.
More prom dresses.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, it's so special, and I just love the way the flowers just like to kind of show off for us.
I
They're
know.
like, pick me. I'm looking great today.
I'm looking good. And
Yeah.
I have peonies that I made a huge bouquet with in the house.
Did you?
And it's just
I
so
saw the
precious.
white ones on my way by.
There's
Really
pink ones
beautiful.
and red ones in the back.
Really?
Uh-huh. They have a nice little flirt to them as well.
Yeah. They got swagger, as
Yeah.
Jazz would say.
They like to show off. So I'll take it.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, good morning.
Hello, Ayla. Oh my gosh. Hi, honey. Oh, it's so nice to have you with us today. Beautiful Ayla.
Well, we're here. That's the main thing.
Here we are for Frequency Fridays. And so,
What frequency have you been?
well, I was
Mm.
just saying that I'm really enjoying being present. That's just kind of like when I was reflecting on my way here on Vital Life Tools, to me that's like number one. Scott's here. Hi, Scott. Yeah, it's kind of where the rubber hits the road for me in all ways is presence, because, and this reminds me of a conversation that I was having with Marlene last week. Just like the present moment is where all the magic resides, and I'm like, as the world is shifting and changing these days, what I'm really noticing, hi Ian, is that I'm able to access presence more and more, and as that's happening, more of what's going on in the world around me is kind of like water off a duck's back. It's just washing over me and moving along, because I really am not 100% sure that the things the stories that are coming my way are true or not true. So I'm like investing less time and energy in them and investing more in what's actually happening. And currently, the bird song is really bringing that home for me. The plants, being in Mother Nature, being around all of nature is really where it's at for me. So yeah, having a really deep experience of presence. And last weekend I went down to the Walbrand.
I was going to ask you about that.
Holy smokes. I hung out with a tree, and I like to talk to trees. Oh, Magali's here. Hi, Magali. I love talking to the trees, and I like to put my third eye against a tree, and this tree, right at the height of my third eye, had a little tiny hole that looked like a keyhole. Like an old-fashioned keyhole. So I just put my forehead against that, and I ask questions, and I just accept the answers that come. And I asked this tree how old she was, because I like to think of cedar as being grandmother. And the answer that I got was 1,264 years old. And wow, so being with that sense of time and being with an elder in that way, and hanging out in water that was emerald green and crystal clear, and
I can feel that. That's
the most amazing time.
And thank goodness that it's still available to us and here for us.
Yeah, so much gratitude for the people who stood for that.
Yeah, right.
Back in the day, for it to be protected.
And
so yeah, just this deep sense of presence and not worrying about what's happening or what's coming or what's gone before. Just like that's what I'm present to. I'm present to presence.
Present to presence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you also have the tools that if you're not feeling present, and the people around you that can remind you to choose to be again, right? And that's ultimately a sign of healing, that there's been integration. You know, you're talking about your future and your past not being in those places, right? That's integrating anxiety and fear and having those pieces come back to you, and that, you know, it's one thing to say like I feel really present, but it's also important to recognize, like, you know, sometimes we have to work to be there, and it is a cycle, right? And it is a rhythm. And so when we're feeling this presence, we can celebrate and be in joy with it, and peace, and really know what it feels like in our body, because when we cycle, then we can trust that it's going to cycle back, and second, we know, you know, what it feels like to be in that presence, and we can activate it. It's always available to us, as you know. And so it's, you know, that to me, like you said, because I really resonate with how you're feeling, like I'm just really in that peaceful presence place, and really just honoring it while it's here, and deepening it, and, like, you know, rooting it and all of that. But I also know that, you know, everything goes in rhythms and cycles.
I think I'm probably more like, just to acknowledge the work that we've been doing. I think the reason that I am more available to being present is because of Frequency Fridays and the work that we've been doing. Whether or not I'm consciously doing it in the moment, it's that we're in this practice of dropping in, and the practice is actually what is reinforcing it. So, like you say, when I'm not in presence, because things definitely been coming to rock my boat, but when I try to reflect on them, they seem like this weird distant memory now, that it's just kind of like, well, that's not happening now, you know. Even though it, like, takes me out in the moment, it's like, oh well, not there now. I'm in this state of, like, perpetual oh well right now. And
and I think we need to be, like, more and more just really aware of our present moment.
And it's interesting because it's Friday the 13th today.
Hey!
It's Friday the 13th.
Wow, I do.
And Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy. And I just wanted to share a story that I heard about this a long time ago, of why it's been a superstition, is because that Friday is from the Norse mythology, Freya's day. And Freya's, like, magic number was 13.
Right.
And so when Freya's day fell on a 13th, supposedly, this is a story I heard, I don't know if any of this is true, that she would become sexually empowered, and she would do whatever she wanted. And so that's why Friday the 13th was so contentious and dangerous to the church, because it was a day where women would become, like, sexually empowered to do whatever they wanted. So that's why it's really bad luck.
We'll just shut down those 13 moons in the calendar. We'll make it 12.
There you go.
Because we're really,
that's handy.
For thousands of years, 8,000 years. I was in a women's circle this week with some elder women in their 80s, and listening to their wisdom is always such a gift for me. And you know, she was reminding us that it's been about 8,000 years since we developed we transferred our communication from signs and symbols and more artistic expression to the linear, calculated alphabet. You know, this is how we talk. This is how we write it, and that really developed the left side of the brain, the analytical brain, and that's really when the demise of the female and the feminine presence was with when we developed alphabet, when we developed writing in that way, and not communicating through more of that imagination, immaterial, intuitive, energetic realm, right?
Wow.
So there's a book out called The Goddess versus the Alphabet, and that is really interesting. It's really a big, heavy read, But that's what Stancia was referring to, right? Like there's just,
Wow.
we are reclaiming the feminine energy, and it's been quite a long time where it's been diffused. I don't know.
I remember hearing once that symbols speak directly to our unconscious.
Yeah.
And I've also heard that when we say the name of something, when we give a name to something, it is one step removed from the essence of the thing.
Yes.
So for example, we
Yes.
have a beautiful example right here. Right here. You and I and those watching are having a physical experience, or, you know, a virtual experience of this beautiful being right here. There's scent, there's the visual, there's, if we choose to touch it, there's the touch of the thorn, there's the touch of the petal, the softness. We have a body experience, a sensual experience of this. And when we apply the word rose to it, we are one step removed from the essence. So language takes us a step back from the essence of that which we're experiencing. And the way I heard this described is with the word God. So we can have an experience of God, but when we use the word God, then we become in relationship to it instead of one with it.
Yeah, it's like outside of us, right? It's kind of separate, I guess, is what I'm hearing you describe. And, you know, the English language, I don't know. I mean, some other languages like French or Spanish, I mean, they're just so expressive, and there's just so much like more available through that, those languages and the phrasing and whatnot. But anyway, it's quite interesting to kind of reflect on how our language can separate and create that us and them kind of thing. And yeah, I mean,
fascinating.
You know, it is, because I like what you're reminding us to do, is to just look at this and experience it from all senses, not from the mind saying rose, you know? And
because that can happen so quickly, we're not even aware of it. You know, think about how you think. Do you think in pictures? Do you think in a sensory experience of something? Or do you start immediately giving words to things? And this is what we teach babies to do. It's like a baby is having the experience of a rose, and we say, rose, 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 till they get it. It's like, okay, it's a rose.
I'll put it in that box. Here's me, here's the rose. Yeah, no, it's very, very true. Like, and so I appreciate the invitation to, you know, just be with it and allow it to have its own spirit and its own expression, right? It's not just a plant on the wall kind of thing. So it is fascinating, and I just feel like in this women's group, her purpose is about language, right? And how we can use language in a feminine way. And I find that fascinating, because it's so much unlearning in a way, and so, but it's also interesting, because, you know, we do want to have that feminine energy. I mean, I know I do as a woman. I really want to be a woman, and not, you know, a defended, fighting for my place, or defensive, or, you know, I want to be that softness when I need to be, and be strong when I need to be. But, you know, I want to be feminine, and so it's interesting to kind of think about how that translates into language, right? Like you used a perfect example, because I said to her about dropping, that sensation of dropping into my heart, and she was like, explain dropping to me, you know? And so it's interesting to, in a more feminine way, you know, again, this is just things to consider and what resonates with you. But she said,
it's an exploration.
What other word would you use? And so it's like, merging, like I merge with my heart, my with the unified field, with my heart field. You know, merge is interesting, right? It's different than drop, right? And so the frequency of words is very important to, as a tool to really generate what you want, right? And generate how you want to feel. And But we're so conditioned into, like you said, rose, like, you know, it does limit us. So it is fascinating. And sitting with a group of women, you know, hearing each other talking about, you know, our daily experiences, and really seeing that through the lens of the female instead of through this, you know, one-sided kind of way. That's limiting, can be very limiting, right?
I once had a whole exploration in a course that I took that was all about the feminine voice, and that language, you know, I'll use the word, my teacher, a man, used the word that language is patriarchal.
Yes,
that's come through.
I'll use the word. I'm trying to, but it's real. Go ahead.
It's this experience of like and I don't know why. I'm not gonna say I know why it's a patriarchal thing, or it comes through a more masculine expression, other than how we know masculine and feminine is masculine being structured and feminine being fluid.
Yes.
You know, I'm not going to place ideas of blame or anything like that on it. It's just what's so. And we were having a really interesting conversation about what it is to speak the feminine voice. Fascinating conversation and exploration. And we're still having to use the structures of language that we've been taught in order to communicate, because that's the purpose of language. So if I started speaking directly from my womb to you in, you know, just like the way people are using light language these days. Here you go. Like, I'm going to present to you a language. Do you understand it? Because that's the purpose of my communicating with you, is that I am delivering a message to you that you understand, or even that word, understand, stand under. I'm trying to use the word inner stand. Right? And that's the fun of language too, is that we can play with it and use it and make it our own, and we can invent our own words. So, this little being,
I know,
there's a little bird right in front of us.
You know, the nonverbal communication, right, has always been so interesting to me, because, you know, we get information from our unified field, and then from the unified field, and then our own electromagnetic fields. When they merge, there's information happening, and you know, you can easily receive it. I mean, you walk into a room and you feel a tense vibe. You know that this person is angry. It's not, you know, super complicated, but it just does make me think, how far can that go? Like, and how can we explore, like, with five rhythms and dance, and then that nonverbal realm? Yeah, there's just so many ways we can feel and sense. It doesn't just, you know, let's be mindful of not limiting ourselves to just language, right? Yeah. That we can practice that nonverbal realm, which could be considered more feminine, not in the analytical brain, right, in the structure of the alphabet and like the rows and all of that. But it's fascinating. I would love to hear like more about what you learned there. I know sometimes we forget, but that's exactly it, like the language of the feminine, and how important it is right now to really bring that energy up to balance what's, I don't know, I think happening out there externally, and to support nature, right? To support ourselves in nature. We're connected. We're not separate, you know, from... Anyway, I do find it fascinating, and
it's a fun conversation to have.
And it's also just feeling the frequency, right?
Yes.
Like if we're talking about, we're dropping into our hearts, and you feel
merging,
that, right? You see the difference? There is a difference.
Oh yeah.
But not until you actually feel it do you realize, oh, there's a difference. Like, you know, because I would say dropping in, which I actually learned from Robbie, which is again very masculine, and it's funny that she picked up on that. because it was literally that
She's
phrase.
listening closely to what you're saying.
I guess she's feeling it, yeah, and just encouraging us to feel it, because that is the feminine way, and to be really clear what we want to choose, you know. And
Feeling
so
the frequency of words,
yeah,
and the words that we're choosing. I read this really beautiful poem this past week by a man, all about mental health, men's mental health, and it was just such a profound and moving piece of writing. There was one spot where I really had to stop and reread it a couple times, because he said the true ascension is from the mind to the heart. And it was just like, because of who we are,
right,
walking vertically in
Yes.
the world, we think about rise, like it would be a descent from the mind to the heart. We drop.
Yeah.
We're going down. But he was reframing that as a rising
yes,
from the mind to the heart. And it was like, that took me like a few times reading that to get it.
so mind to heart, which we would think is a downward motion,
Yeah.
he's suggesting is an upward
Correct.
motion, right? Yeah,
But not physically, but spiritually.
energetically, frequency.
Yeah.
See,
So fun. I
And
love
that-
this stuff.
I know. And please know, like, it's never about being at war with the masculine. It's very much feminine to not gather up soldiers and, you know, create a fight and create opposition and, you know, blame. No, I mean, we do see that no matter what gender we are, because we can get locked into our defenses and covering our pain and whatnot. But this, what we're talking about here, is never to exclude or blame the masculine. I mean, we're really talking about all of us as one, and accepting ourselves and each other. But there is importance to there's feminine, like, I'm thinking, what am I saying here? There is great opportunity to realign, to merge with each other, with ourselves, each other, and nature. And that's what we're talking about here. We're not excluding I mean, I have a husband and 2 sons, and I would,
Yeah, we're
you know,
mums of sons.
yeah, exactly. We're not
We
here
love
to,
our boys, right?
Yeah.
So-
we're really here to include them in this ascension.
Yes. And to help them in their, like, this whole conversation is about merging the masculine and feminine within each of us individually.
Yeah.
And also in our society, like, to find ourselves on more equal footing, and to help our men to become more available to their own feminine energies, which feels like a big movement in the world right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, I have a little theory that I've been nursing for a long time.
Oh, let's hear it.
And it's that so we have the yin yang, right? The yin yang, and having the masculine and the feminine in balance. And I would say starting in the 60s with the feminist revolution, but really you could even go all the way back to the wars when women left the home and went to work because the men were away. Women had to come into their masculine energy. And women now very much embody the yin-yang balance. We work hard, we do all the things, and so we're in our masculine and feminine. And part of the reason we've done that is because the masculine has been holding a lot of power in this patriarchal structure that we've been in. So it's been something that we've wanted. We want that power.
Well, yeah,
right?
If that's considered success and valuable.
Yeah, we wanted the power. And men have also been definitely at the mercy of the patriarchal structures. It's been very difficult and painful to witness
Yes.
the way men have been in the world and what they've had to go through. But so they've been in their yang, and we're in yin yang, so the world has had far too much yang. And so what's needed is for men to come into their female more, but that has occurred as a loss of power because that's how it's been portrayed.
Yeah.
So it's been something more unpleasant for men to come into their female side, but that's actually what's been absolutely needed. And not only that, but the female has also had to hold space for the men to come into their feminine side and feel their feelings and have their emotions. And we can't say, well, we want you to be more sensitive and then but get to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to be holding that energy in that space as well. And what I'm witnessing right now in my personal life and the world around me is that movement's happening.
Yeah.
It is happening right now. I'm just super grateful seeing men come into their feminine energy, to feel, to intuit, to honor how they're feeling, to allow themselves to express emotion instead of shutting down and bypassing. And that's my witnessing.
It's so true.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah. Moment of silence,
It's beautiful.
because I think all of us are just being faced with our pain, and
Yes.
naturally when we move through that and break down our identities and defense mechanisms and coping mechanisms around the pain, it allows us to be more present, and we will fall into more of our appropriate, is that the right word? We will naturally merge with our hormonal rhythms that lead to, that allow us to coordinate the force of love in a natural rhythm. So it's not even really about male female. It's like get through the pain, and we will integrate into this like present moment, which we started talking about, and then from that place we can coordinate this vital force of love so that we keep evolving. We keep evolving. I mean, that's what we're here for. Oh my God, I just got the chills and I could just burst into tears.
Wow.
It's not really about the male female. We're not at war with each other. It's not one or the other. We would fall into these rhythms more naturally that make a lot more sense, that lead to coordinating, cooperating in our movement with love, force, energy that drives us to evolve. I mean, really.
I love it. I love how precise you're being with language.
I'm just really
I'm really noticing you're
trying to get it out. Like,
you got it.
yeah, because that, I
Coordinating and cooperating and bringing forth life force energy, because that's what we're here for.
yeah, and love energy is a force. It's a frequency, and it drives evolution. And it's everywhere. And we can, when we're in cooperate and coordinate it and keep going in this way that allows evolution and beauty and integration. But yeah, it's not about judgment, right? And we really can hear in our language how things get
segmented.
Yeah, the frequency of it is rooted in judgment or separation. Anyways, it's really
choppy.
cool. Yeah,
It has been choppy.
yeah,
And this language
And
that you're
this-
choosing is coherent and inclusive, and hey, it's like a couple women riffing on what we witness and what we're observing in the world.
we riff, and all in 1 week, and then we bring it to you, right? I mean, your experiences, my experiences in the week. I think it's really fun to riff on it.
It is.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't beatbox with my mouth. But
It's funny. I've heard
My
people
husband can.
say, "Oh, that's cool." Even that, saying the week, it's like WEAK, right? People really noticing. There's a lot of awareness coming in, like the weekend.
There you go.
Weekend, right? We're weekend. So like,
Yes, we are.
It's fascinating, the power
Good noticing.
and the
That's
frequency of
huge.
language, right? Just like to really hear what we're saying, and I remember hearing once that Sanskrit was a language of frequency, and that Om, the sound Om, embodies gratitude and God force, and so every single syllable, every letter in Sanskrit is a vibrational tool. And English is not like that.
It's not like that.
No.
Well, and that's what we were discussing earlier, identifying, right? Like it is, the language is set up for certain frequencies, and that's the truth. And I don't even need to look into books and references and what have you, because just when you said, right? It's like, oh yeah, how does that actually feel for me?
How does
oh my God,
feel?
Right? So it's interesting, and like even if we sit here and we practice non-verbal communication, I think you'd be able to see, like, even now we're in our intellectual brain somewhat, even though we are welcoming the feeling and the feminine. So we're trying to practice what we're preaching, or what we're, I don't know about that word. We're trying to merge with what we're feeling. But if we were to go into the nonverbal and go into our merge with our the unified field, I'm sure you'd be able to feel a frequency shift just by watching. And that's the cool thing. That's where we benefit from looking at sentient beings in nature, like horses that will, every action is intentional, even their burps and farts and tail flicks and whinnies. I mean, it's all for energy movement, and we are the same, right? So in that nonverbal space, we can allow for so much more.
I think it might be fun today to drop into coherence and drop some positive words into the field.
Merge with coherence.
And allow that. Did I say drop?
You did.
Shit. Oh no, now I said that word. Did I say a bad word? When we intend and experience coherence. It's fun because using language intentionally causes one to slow down.
Yes.
It's just like picking words.
You become more aware. You become more aware instead of being in your automatic brain.
Yes. So we can do a coherence meditation, and in that meditation we can speak words that we know carry frequencies, like when you were talking about the love evolution. This is reminding me a little bit of Dr. Emoto's work, where he did water crystal photography, and he placed different words on vials of water and then froze the water and photographed the crystals that were formed, so that gave us a visual for the frequency of words and how they affect water and therefore affect us.
I mean, all he did was tape the word onto the container, and it had a huge effect.
So cool.
But I do know that they did project energy towards it.
There was the whole variety of experiments they did. And with some, they took polluted water and they photographed it. They put some negative words on things and photographed it. They also did.
Ready, Kian? So let's do that. Let's do that, and
so we generate coherence.
Yes.
And then we can popcorn some words.
Okay.
And then we can complete for today.
Perfect.
Does that sound good? All right.
And just those who are watching, just invite you to kind of watch the field and see if you notice a real shift. And of course, feel it wherever you are as well.
Ayla, we love you.
Merge. words, but then feeling and that shift between thinking and feeling. It's interesting to observe.
I'm noticing them bubbling up from my belly. So
What's bubbling?
I'll put some out there. So, illumination.
Oh.
Sacred.
Unified.
Gestation.
Harmony.
Flight.
Merge. Merge.
Synchronicity.
Ooh, providence.
Ooh,
I love that word.
Did you say harmony?
I did.
Okay. See, right there, it was like, now, did that come from outside of me or inside of me? Yes, that's the sweet spot. Providence.
It's just so good to go inward and witness the thinking, feeling, and come into a relationship with both.
Grace. Grace.
Pleasure.
Joy. Simplicity.
Presence.
Precious.
Resonance. Oh my gosh, we could do this the whole day now.
Yeah.
Because it's just like pops of vibe, right? That you-
Yes. Pop and vibe. Pop and vibe.
Love you. I have to bring my son to school. I can feel him in the field going, Mom! Love you all. Thank you for
Motherhood.
being here. Yes.
Service.
Yeah.
Showing up.
Nurturing.
Nurturing. Yeah.
I don't want it
We
to
love
end.
you.
I don't want you to like.
We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going all day. And please just pick up this ball and like,
Yes.
if you feel words bubbling up, like speak them out loud and allow the resonance of your voice to actually bring them into the world. Because thinking them is one thing, and allowing them to actually use your mouth as a speaker.
As a broadcaster.
Broadcast, yes. And bring these frequencies into the world. Thank you, you beautiful one. Nameless essence of perfection. We love you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you
Till
so
next
much.
week.
Have
Take
a wonderful
care.
time. See you soon. No. Won't let me stop. Come on, slow connection.